Hey, I'm back with my next video, which is on, I'm doing a bunch of fire inspections next week. So I'm kind of getting back in the swing of things after taking my exams, getting that done. So now I'm ready to go back to work in my regular line of work, which is low voltage. And so I'm going to do 35 fire inspections in the next couple weeks. And what I mean by fire inspections is those are the ones that you sit with, the fire marshal comes out, and you got to run a test for the fire alarm, and it's pass or fail. You got to make sure all the devices are working, everything's in tip-top shape, of course. The only caveat to the situation of me doing the inspections with the fire marshal is that I didn't do any of the work. These are all jobs that somebody else did. So I'm subbing for another company that is going to have me go out and do the inspections, which sounds easy, but it makes me a little nervous when I didn't do the work. So we'll see how the first ones go. If I start to see a trend, then I'll probably speak up. But if not, then yeah, I'll keep going. And what I always like to do, and I'm sure everybody out there does too, is on the day of the inspection, you want to get there early, obviously, to do a run through of the system, especially when I didn't install it. Do a run through the system, make sure everything's in good shape. Put it back online so that when the fire marshal gets there, he can tell me whether he wants it on test or doesn't want it on test. So that's entirely up to him. I've seen it done both ways. So anyway, yeah, one thing I'd like to do with the fire inspections next week is maybe do some recording of the inspection itself and ask the inspector some questions on film or on camera. Film, nobody uses film anymore. Actually ask him some questions about what they look for as far as the main things to look for, what they like to see, what they don't like to see, what would make the process go smoother for them. It's all about making them happy. Do the job correctly. Don't give them any problems, and all of the other subsequent inspections with that particular inspector will generally go a lot smoother once he sees that you're on top of it and there's not a lot of problems with the work. It's always been that way. If he finds one problem, he's going to keep looking for more and more. If he gets to 2 or 3 of your jobs in a row and doesn't find one problem at all, he's pretty much going to know that the inspection is going to go well. You're a pretty solid technician, and he's probably not going to give you a hard time. Or if he does find something, he's probably going to allow you to fix it. And usually they're pretty gracious when it comes to that, as long as you have a good track record with them. So look for the videos that I'm going to try and make in the future with the fire marshals. I'm going all over the valley here in Phoenix, so there'll be a bunch of different municipalities involved in this 35 different inspections. So I know there's at least 5 different agencies that are going to be involved in that I'm going to have to meet with in order to do the inspection. So that'll give me a chance to talk to 5 different fire inspectors and make the videos, see what they like. And another thing that I've been told is that over the last year and a half to 2 years, there were things in the NEC code that they weren't really enforcing before. I don't know the particulars of it, but it's just some things that I heard that they weren't enforcing before, and now they are. So that'll also be good to know and valuable information for you guys, anybody else doing fire inspections, to be aware of things they might have overlooked before and let slide, and now they're not anymore. So I know one thing that came up was lockout tags on the breakers for the fire panels. Number one, it has to be on its own dedicated circuit. I mean, there's no way around that. That's the rule. And some of the older ones aren't, so those had to be corrected. And if I find any that are like that, I'm gonna mention it, and the customer will have to have it corrected before we can do the inspection. But also placing lockout tags on the breakers themselves. In Florida, that was always a requirement. It had to be a red lockout tag so that the breaker could not be turned off. It had to be labeled, that that's for the fire alarm and that's the sole purpose of that circuit. Here in Arizona, I've done a few inspections where I've put the tags on them because they weren't on there before, and I guess it wasn't something they looked for much in the past, but I guess now they are. So fortunately, I'd always been doing it, and it was just the way of doing things in Florida, but that's something to be aware of here in Arizona, the Phoenix metro area, that they are now starting to look for those breaker lockout tags. So anyway, I'll be back with more information when I meet with the inspectors to do the inspections. So later.